How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing us a brand new Drifters anime episode discussion. And for today's anime, guys, we are going to be talking about episode 5 that just happened. Or I should say that I just barely watched. But don't worry, guys, I'm catching up very soon. But episode 5, guys, there really isn't that much to talk about in episode 5. Due to the fact that in episode 5, it was just a pure military strategic win for the elves and frickin' Toyohisa's group against the Orthodox Kingdom. That in itself, guys, was amazing to see how they actually were playing out the whole entire playing field. In all essence, guys, I swear Nobunaga himself is a very powerful character. I'm telling you guys, he literally made the whole village itself a giant trap against the Orthodox Kingdom. And I thought to myself, I'm loving how Nobunaga exploited each and every one of the elves, Toyohisa and Yoichi's strengths and weaknesses in order to actually get where he actually needed to achieve, and he actually achieved the victory that he so rightfully wanted in order to actually get the elves' revenge. And I thought to myself that this episode had a lot of powerful moments in itself, and it's in the end, guys, at the end of the episode, we look to see that not only Nobunaga but Yoichi and Toyohisa, they actually have their own moments to shine. Not necessarily in battle-wise, but actually, in a sense, you could say, their own personal dilemmas that are involved within each of their own characters. Like I said, I'm loving the way that Drifters are actually going with the actual episodes. Nobunaga himself, like I said, he is shown to be fearsome, and I love the way that he actually set the traps himself. He literally set the traps in order for the freaking Order Kingdom. Once they reach the village, they actually it gives it off that kind of ruse as to say that the people themselves have left. It's an abandoned place, so they shut up shop. But the minute they set up shop there, that's it. It was over, because in all essence, he used the feces. Nobunaga used the feces of the serfs in order to combat against the Orthodox Kingdom, but in a very, very particular way, and that is using the feces itself to cover everything up. And granted though, because there was so much feces, everything was able to be flammable, and with so much feces, they even kind of spread the feces all over the weapons and arrows of the serfs themselves. And I was just like shocking, like, wow, you know, Nobunaga is not leaving no one alive. He's showing no mercy whatsoever in this episode. Like I said, Nobunaga himself, and it even goes to show that Nobunaga is kind of pissed off at the fact that the way he was back in the days when he was leading his hundred thousands of men, he's just been reduced to just this. And it just goes to show that Nobunaga can do anything with just the right amount of supplies and the right amount of people with the right amount of motivation. And like I said, Toyohisa is again showing himself to be proven to be that military leader. And Nobunaga even stated in this episode that he's shown to be more not necessarily a state leader, but a military leader in itself. And I'm loving the way that they're kind of both interacting with the serfs themselves, because the serfs in the episode themselves, guys, they actually were shown to be shown that they can actually use weapons. They didn't have to train that as much, because of the fact that when they were young, they actually kind of give up that cliche that elves use arrows, you know, that cliche World of Warcraft or any kind of fantasy game involved, they use arrows in a sense. And I thought to myself, that's pretty hilarious. And I also found it funny that Yoichi's actual comic relief part in itself, shown that the serfs themselves still have a lot to learn, but Yoichi himself did not want to actually lose against these serfs because of the fact that, you know, these people are actually prodigies in using a bow and arrow. And Yoichi himself is actually shown to be that while everything was happening in the village, Yoichi was actually seen in the background. Granted though, he was diminished by the fact that Toyohisa was killing and Nobunaga was just, you know, giving all his dialogue. Yoichi himself was actually another important role, due to the fact that if any of them stranded away from the village, he would come in there and shoot them down with his own arrows. Like I said, it's granted like an interesting to see how they're going along with the whole entire plan itself, guys. Very entertaining. And like I said, feces was the number part rule of it, because in the later half of the episode, or in like the first half, you kind of say Nobunaga's explaining to Illuminae that, you know, he needs sulfur, he needs feces, he needs all this in order to actually masquerade the freaking corpses, the smell and sound. It just goes along to say that, you know, Nobunaga knows a little bit of tricks as to the speeding up the process of the corpse itself, so that way he can mask the presence. And he also set traps in the forest while he was doing it. Like it says, you know, you see that Nobunaga, he's carefully planning everything up ahead. He's always like 10 steps ahead, guys. And the serfs themselves finally got their revenge in the episode, because once they were done with the village, they moved on to one of these, I would say like one of the capitals, like you could say where the military might is actually being held at for this certain part of the area where Toyohisa's characters are at. And they go invade this certain little, you could say like a little castle, like whatever it is, because it doesn't seem like it doesn't be there to be anybody. It's only like 2 important military leaders, but they're about to be killed off due to the fact that Nobunaga has actually infiltrated that freaking castle itself. And right there and then you see that they have to rescue the elves' wives, because in the episode they did explain a little bit that due to the fact that the elves can only reproduce once a year, so basically they just became sex slaves, and the elves had more of a reason to actually come back. And like I said, the episode did sweet justice for the elves themselves. They actually got their revenge right there and then. But with all the carnage that was going on, Toyohisa said something important, and it showed to be that he did not want the elves to be just bloodthirsty killers. He wanted them to still have empathy and emotions in case, you know, they don't go on a rampage and just kill anything in sight. Because there was a certain scene that was very powerful, and that was when one of the soldiers saw the elves infiltrating the castle, and he put down his sword and said, "I surrender, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And you see the elves about to kill him, but Toyohisa stops this certain character and said, "No, can you see? He gave up already. There's no reason for you to actually kill him, since he already gave up his sword." And I thought to myself, wow, Toyohisa, that's very great of you to actually show that, because remember, we don't want these elves to be killers. That's not the point of what Toyohisa is trying to say. He's trying to say is, go in there with a right state of mind and to not lose yourself in the sanity of bloodthirsty killing. Like I said, it's very powerful the way to see how they actually went along with that. And by the way, the episode then just left off right there and then near that part where the elves were actually just being sex slaves, and right there then you see Toyohisa actually had a change of mind and said, "Oh, we're gonna kill these people because of the fact that, you know, what they're doing is so atrocious and it's so mind-boggling that, you know, there's no remorse or actually any feelings left so you can remorse on the fact that these people are actually human." And right there then the episode ends, and I'm here thinking like, my god, what a dilemma right there. And I can't wait for the next episode due to that actual reason, because I want to see more of what Toyohisa has to offer himself, guys, like I said. But that's it for today's episode, guys. Like I said, there wasn't that too much to talk about, but let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about the anime episode. What were your thoughts on Toyohisa, and what were you guys' thoughts on the elves themselves becoming more and more relevant in the story arc themselves? Like, I personally feel like the elves are going to be Toyohisa and Nobunaga and Yoichi's actual comrades in raising the army, because remember, these elves have a long lifespan, so they can actually grow to be their first type of army. Like I said, it's interesting to see how they're kind of going along with this series. But like I said, guys, let me know down in the comments below on what your guys' thoughts on the episode itself. And if you guys enjoy my content, give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Drifters anime episode discussions. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out.